So you want to dive headfirst into psychedelic music? I don't blame you. It's one of the best genres ever invented. I think you've come to the right place. I mean, this is my top 10 records that you should buy if you want to start up a psych collection. So cue music. I don't consider myself as a psych expert. I just happen to have a lot of psych records and I love psychedelic music, but there are a bunch of people out there on YouTube that are way better than me on this subject. So if you're a psych fan and you happen to see this, please write down in the comment section what records you feel I left out from the list. And we'll get a discussion going, and the viewers can also take part of even more tips and suggestions about psychedelic music. I want to point out before we start that this is in no particular order, and I only picked records from the US and England because maybe other countries will be in another video coming, but because of the availability, I want to show records that I think you can go into any store really and find a pressing of, and maybe that would be a little bit harder if it's too international. I don't know, maybe I talk shit, I have no idea. But I want to start off with the Beatles, and I don't think that this is the record that most of you think that I will show, but when I really thought about which psychedelic Beatles record I wanted to show and that I recommend for everyone to pick up. The Sgt. Pepper is obviously psychedelic. Revolver was my first pick, but I don't think that there's any song on this that is not at least a little bit psychedelic. You have Magic Mystery Tour de Fool on the Hill, You Mother Should Know, I'm the Walrus. If that's not a psychedelic song, I don't know what is. And you go on with Strawberry Fields Forever, which may be the best psychedelic song ever, and All You Need Is Love. It's a great record. 1967, the height maybe of the Beatles' career. And even if this is I think a compilation, I think this was released as a 7 inch or something like that. I don't know. But get this. This is my first recommendation. So, going from England to the States, this is It's a Beautiful Day, 1968, the sort of San Francisco sound. Can we label it as that, the San Francisco sound? I often recommend this to people because it's pretty cheap. I bought this for €1, and it's gonna blow your mind if you haven't heard it, because it's really sounds and feels like West Coast US 1968. Every time I hear a record from this time period, from this sort of San Francisco area, I always compare it to this, and this always wins. The cover artwork, fantastic. First song, White Bird, you have that on the back side, just takes you to another realm. Great psychedelic song. Highly recommended, and you can pick this up pretty cheap, I think, still. Going back to England in 1967, we have the next one. This is Disraeli Gears. I always have a hard time reading that. Disraeli Gears by Cream. Their second output, I think. Famous trio. You have Ginger Baker, Jack Bruce, and Eric Clapton. The supergroups of all supergroups. When you're listening to this, you think you're hearing a symphony orchestra, but it's only 3 people. Great musicianship, songs. I mean, it's just one of the classics. And side A, I mean, starting off with Strange Brew and Sunshine of Your Love. Get this, yeah. A lot of the stuff that happened on the West Coast in the States, and if you read about psychedelic music and where it came from, and I don't think that you can really ignore Frank Zappa's huge impact on the genre. Now, is this the best Zappa record? No, I don't think so, but it's maybe the most psychedelic. It's the first one that he did with Mothers of Invention, 1967. It's said to be the first double LP. It came like 2 months before Blonde on Blonde with Bob Dylan. And as I said, it's not his best or the Mother's best record, but it's the perfect sort of example of a great psychedelic American sort of core record. You have to really listen to this. It's not super easy to get into. I don't think so. Not in my opinion anyway. But if you do, you will be rewarded. Staying on the West Coast, I believe that this is also one that you should get a hold of pretty fast when you getting into psych and grow your psych collection. This is Love Forever Changes. I will say they're second, but I'm talking out of my ass. I have no idea. Maybe they're second. 1967, fantastic West Coast again, US. There's not a bad song on here. On the Electro, they were signed at the same time as the Doors, and even if the Doors have some psych in it, this is in another league, and a masterpiece of a record. Love's greatest record in my opinion, and definitely on top 10 psychedelic records that you should own. Staying on the West Coast, in the States, we have another, I think also a San Francisco band, and this is also one of the pillars of psychedelic music. Surrealistic Pillow by Jefferson Airplane, and this has the mammoth of a song, White Rabbit, on it. I mean, what a trip! I mean, what a trip! Just, you don't have to take substances to really go beyond when you listen to that song. It's insane. It's so good. It's so damn good. Yeah, top 10. The next one is, if you're a psych aficionado, I don't think that you have this or could ever have a clue that I would put this on this top 10 list. Not top 10 psych albums. Remember that. This is recommendations from me when you start your psych collection. But I put this on the list because plenty of reasons. This is a masterpiece. According to me, this is a psych masterpiece. It's damn good. There's not a single moment that is bad. Is this one of the best albums of psych? No, it's not. But it's really, really good. It's up there. Maybe not top 10. But then you have the cover artwork, fantastic. H.P. Lovecraft, the name of the band. I love the author. This is also, but now it's subjective, because for me, the hunt for this was fantastic. You can't buy this at Walmart. You can't go into a Best Buy and just like buy this record. I don't even think you can go on to Amazon to find this. You have to dig in a record store for this. So maybe of all the records that I'm showing, this is the hardest one to get a hold of, but when you get a hold of it, it will blow your mind. So that's why it's on the top 10. Rewarding record for different reasons. Back to England, and these guys, I mean, everyone knows about these guys, but they ventured on to be more, in my opinion at least, progressive later on. And the first record, is maybe the most psychedelic of all their records. Maybe. I think that after this, when Syd Barrett left, they got more progressive than psychedelic. Maybe. I mean, comment if you don't agree. We can have a discussion about it. But this is Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Fantastic, 1967. And has some of the best work by these guys. I mean, they were so energetic, and I don't know how to really review it. But let's say it's a completely different band when Syd Barrett were in the band. And that's not... I love Pink Floyd's later stuff. But in my opinion, it's not psychedelic. It's progressive. Prog rock. This is a psych record. And it's on the top 10 of records you should buy when starting up your psych collection. 2 more to go. This is what it sounds like. This is, again, the West Coast. This is the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band, part 1. I think they put out a record before this. I don't own it, but other than that, this is the first record that they put out on Reprise. This is also a masterpiece of psychedelic music, all the way from the cover artwork to the music. And I think that the second one that they put out, or maybe even the third, is better than this, but this is the one to start with, in my opinion. And I love the sort of embryo that no one detects on the cover. The birth of psychedelic music, maybe somewhere along that line. And last but not least, and I don't think that this is full-blown psychedelic all the way. It has pop tendencies, definitely pop tendencies. But 1968, when this was released, pop tendencies was psych in one way. Okay, so the UK, and you have the Zombies or Odyssey and Oracle, their last release, they made 2 records, and this is a mind blower. The first song is the best song ever recorded, and every song that comes after that is even better until the end. It's just like that, in my opinion. It's one of the best records ever recorded. When you dive into this, you are in for a treat. So that's it. That's my top 10 records if you're gonna start a psych collection. My recommendations. Please write down below in the comment section if you don't agree, or agree if I left something out, or if you want me to do a part 2. I mean, let's get the discussions going, and I'll talk to you in my next video.